Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified. Follow me on Instagram at P4P Boxing Real News. What is going on? So it's in. The WBC 2023 is going to be a great year for boxing already. It's looking like a lot of fights will be made in 2023 that the WBC approved during the weekend at the convention of the WBC, the World Boxing Council, sanctioning body in boxing. Um, they're one of the more premier belts. The people call it the premier belt of boxing. When you have that belt, is obviously a it's obviously something significant. You know what I'm saying? So the WBC had their convention, the annual convention, and some fights were approved and some fights were ordered by the WBC. As we look at the list, it says fights WBC ordered approved today by Michael Benson on Twitter. He tweeted out, he says Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz. Now, that is a good fight, but I think that we all knew that that was going to be a fight that was going to be leading up to. I think that a lot of people already knew that fight was going to happen. And that should be a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Andy Ruiz, obviously, he's a good fighter, you know what I'm saying? And Deontay Wilder, he's a good fighter as well. Um, and it's gonna be interesting to see what Deontay Wilder, how's he gonna be able to come in the ring with a guy that has fast hands like Andy Ruiz? You know what I'm saying? And Andy Ruiz, how's he gonna be able to take the power of Deontay Wilder? That's gonna be very interesting to see in the upcoming whenever that fight is finalized and made. Then you have Earl Spence being mandated to fight Keith Thurman. So the fight will happen. Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. Obviously Errol Spence was contemplating to going up to 154, and after the Terrence Crawford fight couldn't be finalized and what didn't happen, so now he is being mandated to fight Keith Thurman. So Keith Thurman overall looks like he's gonna get the shot. I think that we all kind of know what's gonna happen in that fight. Earl Spence is probably gonna be victorious in that fight. Obviously, Keith Thurman is past his years. We've seen him in a fight with a 140 pounder like Mario Barrios. He comes in and, I mean, come on. Like, you're supposed to make a statement with that type of opponent. But obviously, you know, it's a good fight. I would say for like the fans of boxing that were hyping that fight up when it really was never meant to happen. You know what I'm saying? I think that I guess people would just want to see it. Um, but I got Earl Spence winning that fight. The next fight after that, David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, which is already finalized. I guess they approved that fight. Um, this is going to be a very good fight. That's a 50-50 fight. Caleb Plant obviously coming off of a uh, magnificent victory over Andre um, the dog Darrell. You know what I'm saying? And Benavidez, obviously, a lot of people want to see David Benavidez inside of the ring because obviously he's a machine. You know what I'm saying? He throws punches in bunches, and it's going to be very interesting to see if he's going to be able to catch Caleb Plant with any of those combinations that he throws, those flurries, those punches and bunches that he throws, especially if he gets you against the ropes. I said, you know, Caleb Plant needs to stay the fuck off the ropes against David Benavidez. He's gonna have to have a 12-round perfect boxing performance against David Benavidez. Will he knock out David Benavidez? I do not think so. But it should be a very good fight. And Caleb Plant, he has a very good chance of beating David Benavidez, especially after getting all the experience and confidence back. After getting that knockout victory, after losing by knockout in this previous fight, before uh the dog Darrell. So it's a lot of questions, and it's a 50-50 fight for sure. You know what I'm saying? Now Shakur Stevenson versus Isaac Cruz. I feel like that's gonna be a boxing lesson. Shakur Stevenson is obviously gonna be boxing around Isaac Cruz. I don't think that that's even a fight that, that's really anything to come from, right? Obviously, we know that they're trying to build up Isaac Cruz as one of being that guy, or being that type of level opponent for a fighter. Um, After he lost in a very close fight with Javante Tank Davis, but I think that that's just simply that, right? They're just trying to build him up, just to seem to the fans that, oh wow, look at Isaac Cruz. But I think that that's just a facade. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's honestly just a facade. That Isaac Cruz, um, he's gonna get worked in there. Shakur Stevenson, hands down, will win that fight. Um, Teofimo Lopez versus Sandor Martin, which is that one was kind of unexpected. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez versus Sandor Martin. Obviously, Sandor Martin, his biggest victory was against Mikey Garcia, coming out to his hometown and beating him, putting on a boxing performance, a boxing lesson on Mikey Garcia. And obviously that's gonna be a very good fight. Because Teofimo Lopez is still new to the 140 weight class, so Teofimo Lopez still has a lot of answers to answer, a lot of questions to answer, inside of that ring, especially up at 140. His back is against the wall. The reason why, fans don't believe in Teofimo Lopez and everything that he's done, since he's been in the sport. N- it's been more fans, I believe, feeling some type of way about Teofimo Lopez, especially growing the way he's been growing. But what's going on, HLD? What's good, bro? But obviously, fans want to see him in there with those tough opponents at 140, and I think that Sandor Martin is a good opponent. Um, and how could you not favor a guy like Sandor Martin, right? Obviously, he's established at the weight class. He's probably bigger than supposed to be at the weight class. He's a good boxer. He's gonna give Teofimo Lopez a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? But Teofimo Lopez, you can't count him out. He had one bad showing, came back, fought a guy like I can't even remember the dude's name, to be honest. But what was it? Pedro Campa. Yeah, Pedro Campa came back, had a stunning performance, and now he'll be fighting Jose Pedraza. So we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens in that fight. Like I said, a lot of questions need to be answered, and Tio just got to come out, and he's got to do what he has to do, especially he's got to make a statement. You know what I'm saying? Make a statement on Pedraza, make a statement on Martin to establish yourself in that weight class, especially 140. Obviously, guys are bigger. There's guys cutting down that way that are walking around at 161 to 180, maybe 200. You just never know with these guys sometimes, right? But that's a tough fight for Teofimo Lopez, I believe. So that's a very tough fight, and especially that we probably only seen two fights. What he fought a guy after Mikey Garcia, he fought what Jose, uh can't even remember the guy's name, Jose Felix or whatever. But he's a good fighter. Sandor Martin is a good fighter nonetheless. Now, it's very interesting. Sebastian Fundora versus Tony Harrison, which I think is a very good fight. Sandor Martin fell off the negotiations table last month, didn't take the deal, overpricing himself for December 10th. True. So now what do you think that they're gonna go to a purse bid since the fight is being mandated, or approved by the WBC? Or I mean, we'll definitely see. But yeah, I mean, if he's overpricing himself, um, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who the hell he. I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know what network does he even fight under, right? I think maybe the Zone. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what network Sandor Martin. He's a sketchy artist. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a guy that just came over. You know what I'm saying? So he's still a lot of sketch, a lot of was very skeptical with him. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of fans don't know about him. You know what I'm saying? But he's definitely a good fighter, though. Sebastian Fundora versus Tony Harrison. That's a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Tony Harrison is a very good boxer. Obviously, Sebastian Fundora is the towering inferno. You know what I'm saying? 6 foot, like 7, 8 motherfucker just fighting uh uh 6 foot guys, you know what I'm saying? So it looks really crazy inside of the ring. But I'm looking forward to that fight. I like Sebastian Fundora. He's a very good fighter. Um, I like because he has a high IQ. You know what I'm saying? The kid has a high IQ. You know what I mean? There's things in there that you can't really teach, but yeah, I mean he's a good fighter. I like that fight for sure. He says this just opens options for Tiafimo #1 WBO for Taylor next if maybe then takes this fight. Man, look, I mean, look, obviously Josh Taylor is the guy that Tiafimo is eyeing at 140. But I like what they're doing though. I like that they got to build that confidence back up. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a potential superstar inside of the sport. You know what I mean? He's a potential superstar. He's gone against guys like Lomachenko, obviously beating him. But I think that he the way that they're gonna move him, I think they're gonna move him real well. You know what I'm saying? Get that confidence back up. Teofimo Lopez is a hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? December 10th, we gonna be in the building, man. Fuck that. We gonna be in the building. We gonna light that motherfucker up because that shit about to be lit. All that undercard, and then to top it all off, Teofimo Lopez coming out, man. That's a good fight right there. Yeah, yeah. That's Sebastian Fundora versus Tony. I like that fight, man. I like that fight, and um I like Sebastian Fundora, man. He's a really good fighter. What's going on, Pudo? What's good, bro? Man, and then Stephen Fulton, Brandon Figueroa too. That's a good fight. Let's be very clear about this. That's a good fight. All right, we seen one, and one it brought out a lot of Stephen Fulton. And I didn't believe in Brandon Figueroa. Let me be honest. I did not believe in Brandon Figueroa. I thought Brandon Figueroa was levels down from Stephen Fulton. I thought Stephen Fulton was that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, nah, he ain't beating no Stephen Fulton. Especially after I saw the performance with Stephen Fulton and Angelo Leo. I thought Angelo Leo was doing really good work. Stephen Fulton was doing really good work. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Figueroa brought a different element to that table that night, and he was going at Stephen Fulton, and so was Stephen Fulton. You know what I'm saying? They just made it a very memorable fight. After the fight, I think Stephen Fulton said something like, um, I beat him clearly or something. Brandon Figueroa was obviously like, nah, I felt like I won that fight. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people felt like he won that fight. Me, myself, and I thought that Brandon Figueroa won that fight and or a draw. You know what I'm saying? But hey, they gave it to Fulton. They gave it to Fulton, and you know what I'm saying? But that's a very good fight, though. Let's be very clear. Cause I want to see number two. Part two it's gotta be memorable. You know what I'm saying? As part one was. That fight right there was very memorable. Fulton avoiding the monster. Hey man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really keep up with them like that, but I just remember watching that Figueroa Stephen Fulton fight, and I was like, yo, they need to run it back because that was a very close fight in my eyes. I feel like Brandon Figueroa should have got the nod or the draw. They should have got the draw, and let's make part two. But we're gonna get part two. You know what I'm saying? Part two should be better. Um, I would hope Brandon Figueroa is inside in the lab right now, uh, training and doing what he has to. He's another guy that's very sketchy. I don't really hear too much of Brandon Figueroa. He's just out there. He comes into the ring on fight night with his brother and his family, and then, you know what I'm saying, his sister. But they come into the ring on fight night, and you're like, where the hell this kid been at? And if you really look at him, you think that he been chained up uh to the radiator the whole his whole time, and then they let him loose for fight night. Then he goes back home and they chain his ass back up to the radiator because he's that white. You know what I'm saying? He's that white. It's like, bruh, they locking you up in the dungeon like Cyclops. You know what I'm saying? He comes out, he got bags under his eye and shit. You know what I'm saying? Probably from all the nerves to come into the ring the next day. You know what I mean? Motherfucker just comes up from the basement, from the dungeon, and goes straight into the ring. They don't allow that man to do nothing. You can't, bro. You can't. You can't forget the system. You can't. You cannot. You just cannot, bruh. But Brandon Figueroa is that guy that you just never hear about in boxing. It's like, yo, is this dude even existing? You know what I'm saying? Well, that's why I saw Brandon Figueroa's fights. I believe he fought Luis Neri. I was like, bruh, this kid's not gonna go in there and do shit. But he came in, he had skills like shit. I was like, damn, that's Brandon? Nah, that's Brandon. Get out of here. Couldn't believe it. He put on a great performance that night. So I'm excited for part two. I think that this is gonna be a very good fight. I think that this is gonna be one of those fights. Remember that 2023 is gonna be a very sneaky year. It's gonna be a very sneaky year because if all of these fights actually do get made at the table, if all of these fights right here on the screen right here get made, um, I believe where I could call who's gonna win the fight is only Shakur and Earl Spence. That's it, right? Other than that, uh, other than that, I'll even give Andy Ruiz the 50-50 on Deontay Wilder, but I think that the knockout will happen. I think Deontay Wilder gets that victory. But I'll give the 50-50 to Andy Ruiz. I'll say, you know what, is a more 50-50 fight because I like what Andy Ruiz is gonna bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Especially with his fast ass hands that he got for a big boy. Is he too small? I think so. I think he's gonna be too small for Deontay Wilder. I think he's gonna get knocked the fuck out. Right? We've seen Andy Ruiz get caught before. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Anthony Joshua, Chris Arreola, and things like that. But I'll give him the little 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Joe D said Shakur and Cruz versus Cruz likely not happening. Yeah, it probably won't, especially that cross promotion shit. Cross promotion stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I don't like that fight. If it does happen, let's say if it does happen, I got Shakur Stevenson just washing Isaac Cruz. Obviously I think that they're just trying to build Isaac Cruz off obviously off the name for people to be like, oh, Isaac Cruz, Isaac Cruz. It's like what people do with Jojo Diaz now. Oh, I'm going for Jojo Diaz. Jojo Diaz go out there and get worked. He go out there and get his ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Shakur versus Jermaine Ortiz, more likely. I like that fight. But two boxes inside of that ring, that shit gonna be boring. And this is gonna be, it's really gonna come down to who's just the better boxer at the end of the day, right? Who's got the better jab, and it's just gonna be a very fucking boring fight, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And then Jermaine Ortiz got to not get gassed out, man. He can't get gassed out. You know what I'm saying? He had that fight, man. He had that fight. He let it slip away, man. If he has another fight like that, you know what I'm saying? He can't let it slip away, especially when it's like down to the nitty gritty and you guys are going head to head and it's 50-50 right now. And then you need one round to win that fight. You know what I'm saying? I can understand down like the judges scorecards, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna talk about that, but on the judges scorecards, on that one judge scorecard, bruh, this is who I thought was out that motherfucker, bruh. Like literally, it is crazy. How the hell? What the hell? In what world did you think that that was 117, 111? That is crazy. Let me make sure I got the right fight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is crazy, man. 117, 111. I couldn't believe it. I said, oh hell no. My scorecard was 115, 113. Like what was I think it was the John McKay had it. But I gave Loma the no. I gave Yeah, I gave Jermaine Ortiz the second, and then the 11th. I think that's where we was off. I gave to Loma. But man, I mean, I don't know, bro. Hey, but Jermaine Ortiz, he had it, dog. He had it. He let it go. I couldn't believe it, but he had that fight, and it was that last moment. I think that's what solidified it for me because I was like, damn, he would have got that. Maybe a draw. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a draw. But the way these judges scored this shit, Jermaine needed a knockdown for real, for real. Something crazy. But man, I'm excited for 2023. 2023 could be that year. You know what I'm saying? Shakur HLD doesn't believe that Shakur Stevenson versus Isaac Cruz will happen. And it probably won't because of the fact that they cross promotion. They probably still trying to build up Isaac Cruz to be that guy, which he's not that guy. But you know, they want us to. They want fans to be dumb. You know what I'm saying? So play dumb for them. But if it does happen, Shakur Stevenson's gonna whoop him, and Earl Spence. That's gonna be a knockout for Earl Spence. Watch, and people gonna be like, "Oh, he did it! I can't believe it! He said he wasn't gonna fight him, but then he fought him because he was." I want to hear the bullshit. It's just bullshit that come out people fight mouth. But Sebastian Fundora, Tony Harrison, 50-50. Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa, 50-50. Teofimo Lopez, Sandor Martin, if it happens, 50-50. David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, 50-50. Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, 50-50. Fuck it. Let's give it to Ruiz. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he's going to get knocked out, to be honest. But for sure, victory, Shakur, Earl Spence, those fights, I mean, I wish they would fight somebody that's better, to be honest. I thought it was a draw with round 3 being a swing round. It could have been a draw, man. Like, and I really think that if he would have, like, you remember when Teofimo Lopez fought uh, Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? That 12th round was critical for Teofimo Lopez to win that fight. Like literally, it was critical. And I believe that's where he solidified that fight. Like there was no taking away from him. It was nothing like that. We knew what was gonna what I mean, if they did, it was just a robbery. But we knew that Teofimo Lopez won that fight because he solidified it and he made it clear. This is my this is my fight. You know what I'm saying? This is my fight to win. And he won that shit. I think that's what Jermaine Ortiz, he had the perfect plan. He had everything. I mean, he came out, he did the same exact, like the same performance of the Teofimo Lopez fight. Same performance. And maybe Lomachenko, he's a very slow starter if that's the case, because it's not up into that second half of the fight. That's where the motherfucker wakes up. You know what I'm saying? And it got it that's where he started coming on very strong, you know what I'm saying? Trying to take these young guys to the deep water, and it worked with Jermaine Ortiz because he did gas out. And if he could have had that extra pull at the end, I felt like I was giving him that fight, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like they scored it correctly. 115. I feel like this scorecard, I feel like that 115, 113 was the correct score, having Vasily Lomachenko win. So I have Vasily Lomachenko win 115, 113. And I could see a draw because it was that close. To me, it was that close of a fight. Like literally, you could, yeah, like you said, it's a swing round. So You could just favor Ortiz on that one round, just give him a draw. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I wouldn't have been mad at the draw because I feel like Jermaine Ortiz, he did a lot of work. He did enough work to win. I believe you could give him 6 rounds. You know what I'm saying? You could give him 6 rounds, and then he started to gas, and then Loma picked up. You know what I'm saying? So very tough, very tough. But I scored it 115, 113 Lomachenko. 117, 111, crazy. 116, 112. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But 115, 113, I feel like was the close fight that we saw. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was the close fight that we saw, and I feel like that was the correct scorecard that should have been across the whole board. Or maybe somebody give Jermaine Ortiz one, like how you had it a draw, and somebody could have had Jermaine Ortiz winning. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he did really go work in that ring. And I want to see more of him, man. I definitely can't wait to see more of Jermaine Ortiz, man. He came out. He's a very good fighter, very good fighter. He's gonna be a problem for some of them guys. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be a problem for some of them guys. If he keeps working on his craft, keep getting better, man. Sky's is the limit for him. You know what I'm saying? He's a very good fighter. Um, Lomachenko, Devin Haney, that's the fucking fight I want to see. You know what I'm saying? But I got Devin Haney winning that fight. He's just too Lomachenko. He's gonna be too small, and if he's a slow starter like we've seen in the Jermaine Ortiz Tio fight, being a slow starter like that, letting him get 6 rounds or 5 rounds up on you, and then you try to come in that second half. Devin Haney is not the type of fighter like a boxer puncher. You know what I'm saying? He's not that type of fighter. He's not gonna try to go and win the fight. You know what I mean? He's gonna try to hug to win the fight. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna be out there trying to do any of that. He's just gonna go out there. He's really just gonna throw one punch and then hug you and then just smother you. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think that it's going to be very hard for Lomachenko trying to get inside of Devin Haney. You know what I mean? And then he smothers his work already because he comes in and fucking with 2 fists up and shit and just trying to get you real quick. But it's going to be very hard. And not having the reach advantage, not having any physical attribute advantage over a fighter already puts you at a disadvantage, right? Obviously. And then being fucking 5'5" puts you at an even bigger disadvantage. You know what I mean? The only advantage is your IQ and your skill set, but it could be neutralized though. It could be neutralized by a bigger guy like Devin Haney that throws a jab out and then fucking runs and hugs you real quick. You know what I'm saying? So he has a good game plan for Lomachenko, I believe. You know, Devin was put on the spot by Top Rank at the convention. He will be fighting Lomachenko. Yeah, hell yeah. But I mean, I think that Devin wins that fight, to be honest, bro. I think he wins it. I don't think that I don't think that Lomachenko. I mean, obviously Lomachenko has the skills and he has a high IQ inside of that ring, and I think that that's the only things that I have that Lomachenko has an advantage uh to Devin Haney, right? I think that's the only advantage he has over Devin Haney. But other than that, let's be honest, like he's just too small. He's too small. He's not gonna be able to do a lot of the shit that he does, especially when he's just trying to get on the inside and Devin Haney's running. You know what I mean? And he's running around the ring and just sticking his jab out, and then he's hugging you at the same time. How's he gonna be able to combat that? You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, with his experience, he goes into the ring with a different plan and a different strategy than he did with when he went against Tiafimo or Jermaine Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he came out off the plane, maybe a little jet lag. You know what I'm saying? Obviously the battle wounds that he got out there. You know what I'm saying? Got his little stripes out there, and he was at war. You know what I mean? Obviously, but he's back now. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see what he does inside of that ring once it's time to be announced that they're about to fight. So, hey, hey, this weekend of boxing is gonna be a good one. We got a fight on Friday night. Saturday night we got 3 cards, right? And then on Sunday we have Mayweather versus the Digi Monster. You know what I'm saying? Um, this weekend gonna be good. Ortiz has more pop than Haney to control Loma. Plus, Loma won't allow him to hold. It's a 50-50 fight. Dog, think about that shit, bruh. Think about that shit, HLD. Think about that, bruh. Think about that. Yo, Devin will fucking lunge himself at this kid, bruh. He will lunge himself at Lomachenko to hug him. You know what I'm saying? Bruh, I've seen Devin Haney's fights, and I've seen this guy hug from all angles. You know how they say Loma moves in angles? This kid fucking throws himself and hugs on all angles, like literally everywhere. He that's what he does, bro. He's a hugger. You know what I'm saying? What we have this weekend, bruh. The running, bruh. He's gonna lunge himself at Loma, bruh. It is no stopping the kid. You know what I'm saying? When he's holding on for dear life, he's holding on for dear life. He ain't letting that little motherfucker move, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I ain't got. That's what I'm saying. I don't got Lomachenko beating this kid. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe when Lomachenko was at his all-time high and shit like that, yeah, I feel like he would have gave him that. He would have gave him a run for his money. And Devin Haney, I ain't gonna lie, he been getting a little bit better, especially with the experience he's getting from these other fighters. Obviously, not at his level. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but he's been getting this experience up. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I seen by Lomachenko, he hasn't changed from the Tio fight. You know what I'm saying? He just came back and he fought Nakatani, Richard Comey. Yes, fought really good fights. But when he's in the ring with a guy like Tio or Jermaine Ortiz, he it's very hard for him to start get going. You know what I'm saying? And he gets going too late. You know, and Jermaine Ortiz and Teofimo Lopez, they'll I mean, I don't know. I just think that Devin Haney's he's gonna fucking stick his jab out and he's gonna lunge at him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's his game plan. I think that's gonna be the game plan for Devin Haney is to stick this jab out and throw himself on him real quick, move at an angle and hug him again, move at another angle, hug him again. He gets crafty in there with those hugs, bro. He gets very crafty in there, Jane. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this weekend? So you got Friday night, we got Edwards versus Alvarado, Felix Alvarado. You know what I'm saying? The Nicaraguan kid. Oh, that's a good fight. Well, I don't know who Edwards is, but I know who Felix Alvarado is, and he's a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's the lower weight classes, but I like him. He's a good fighter. Um, and then Saturday night, you got the return of Sinisa Estrada on Top Rank, and then John Beck. And then you also have Montana Love fighting on the zone, and then Natasha Jonas on the zone. So the 6 o'clock main event for Natasha Jonas is gonna be out. I mean, it's gonna be at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then later on that night, we got Montana Love versus Sparks. And then you got John Beck on the other card for the ESPN Plus one. So the zone and ESPN Plus putting on performances this weekend. The zone's all over the place though, because I believe that Felix Alvarado fight will be on the zone as well. So if that Felix Alvarado fight is on the zone, right? Let's say if it's on the zone, I don't know, but then Montana Love later on Saturday night, and then Natasha Jonas in the daytime. So the zone's gonna get a lot of play this weekend. And then you got John Beck on ESPN Plus, and he said Strada's return back to the ring. And then on Saturday, you got another The Zone. on pay-per-view of the zone. The zone is on. What the hell's going on at the zone? They got all the cards this weekend. And it's all day boxing Saturday. Because that Natasha Jonas fight, y'all know that it starts at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern, and it goes all the way up to 6 p.m. Now you get that little window to go get your food, run to the store real quick, get whatever you need to get that Henny bottle, get that fifth of Henny, you know what I'm saying? Come back, mix it with your ginger ale, sit back, you know what I'm saying? I believe like at 8 o'clock, that's when all the other fights start. You know what I'm saying? And then you stay awake all the way on to the next day and you wait till Mayweather and Digimonster to fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? So hey, it's a lot of boxing this weekend. It should be good. You know what I'm saying? It should be good. A whole bunch of boxing. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I see Devin Haney beating Lomachenko. I just think, his fans are saying it. You know what I'm saying? His fanatics are saying it. You know what I mean? Devin Haney's fanatics are saying it. That he's too big, this and that. All right, bro, he's too big, he's this and that. You know what I'm saying? So if he beats him, he was too big. You know what I mean? He was too big. They're right. They're 100% right. Whatever the fuck they say. You know what I'm saying? He was too big. Why y'all picking on little guys? You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see about it. I'm excited for that fight, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hope that Lomachenko has a different game plan than George Kambosos did. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, George Kambosos' only game plan was not having a game plan. It was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Saying that he was gonna get better for the second fight and this and that was a lie. You know what I mean? It was a lie because obviously it was the same outcome. Same thing happened. It is. Haney is the young lion, and it's the champion should be slightly favored. Hell yeah. And the odds is gonna be good for that because in like Vegas or wherever you bet at, um, it should be good because if you believe in Lomachenko and let's say he's the underdog, I'll put some money on that. And if you believe in Devin Haney and if he's the underdog, I will put some money on that because that's a very good fight. You just never know what will happen in that type of fight. You know what I'm saying? Never know what will happen in that type of fight. Obviously, it's a lot that you could pick apart and shit from that fight, but obviously we won't know till they get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's a lot to pick apart from that fight. If it happens, uh, Lomachenko is still a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? Still a good fighter, even though people want to shit on him. He's a very good fighter. You know, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Boxing is getting interesting. 2023 is looking very interesting. Let's be very clear and let's run down these names one last time before I get up out of here. WBC ordered and approved today. Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz. Earl Spence Jr. versus Keith Thurman. David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. Shakur Stevenson versus Isaac Cruz. Teofimo Lopez versus Sandor Martin. Sebastian Fundora versus Tony Harrison and Stephen Fulton versus Brandon Figueroa Part 2. Let's go, man. 2023 should be a good one for boxing. The WBC, hopefully all these fights come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? I can go without seeing the Shakur versus Isaac Cruz fight because I know exactly how that fight is going to happen. I know exactly what that fight is going to be. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be Isaac Cruz pushing Shakur Stevenson back, and not cutting off the ring effectively. You know what I mean? Like I know what that fight is gonna. I've seen it before. I've seen that type of fight before. I don't want to see that fight. Every other fight on there, the Earl Spence and Keith Thurman one too. I don't care to see that one either. But every other fight on there, I feel like it's a very good fight. 2023 is gonna be a good one, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we out. Peace.